Did you know that 60% of people say they've been in at least one toxic relationship? And many don't even realize it until it is too late. If you keep finding yourself surrounded by negative, draining, or manipulative people, this video is for you. Let's talk about why this keeps happening and how to stop it for good. Today, I'm diving into something that affects a lot of people, and that is attracting toxic relationships. If you're always the one giving, the one always explaining yourself, you're always walking on eggshells and somehow still being blamed, then this is not just a coincidence. It is a pattern. But here is the good news. Patterns can be broken. And when you understand why this keeps happening, you can take your power back and start attracting the love, the peace that you truly deserve. So what exactly is a toxic relationship? A toxic relationship is a relationship where the connection you share with your partner drains you more than it fits you. Here are some signs to look out for in a toxic relationship. You feel emotionally exhausted after your interactions with that person. You are constantly doubting yourself, and you are also manipulated into feeling guilty for setting boundaries. Your needs are always last or completely ignored. You are afraid to speak your mind. Does all this sound familiar? So the scary part is the more you experience this, the more normal it begins to feel. And that is how people get stuck for months, even for years, in relationships that slowly strip away their self-worth and self-esteem. The question becomes, why do you keep attracting toxic people? Here is the uncomfortable truth. We often attract what feels familiar. I know you would think, what is she on about? We often attract what feels familiar, not necessarily what's healthy for us. If you're one of the people that grew up in an environment where love was inconsistent, where boundaries were crossed, or where emotional neglect was normal, you may find yourself subconsciously drawn to relationships that mimic those early dynamics, those early years of your life. Here are 3 common patterns that make you a magnet for toxicity. Are you a people pleaser? You always put other people's needs above your needs, hoping for their approval. Number 2 is fear of abandonment. You tolerate any behavior, any bad behavior to avoid being left alone. The number 3, lack of boundary. You never set boundary. You don't say no. And when you try to, you feel so guilty for saying no. Here is the thing. It's not your fault. These patterns were formed as a survival tactic. The problem is that presently they are no longer serving you. So it's time to rewrite the script of your life and make a change. It's time to recognize who you are and tell yourself that you are born for more. So what is one way to stop attracting toxic people? Self-awareness is just your answer. Not just surface level awareness, but deep, raw, honest self-awareness. Because the moment you truly know your worth, not just say it, but live it, you become impossible to manipulate. Here is how to start. Know your values. What is your value? What is important to you? Your values are the core belief that guide how you live, how you love, and how you make your everyday decisions. Your value reflects who you are, not who you think you should be, but who you are. You have to write down the top 5 things that matter most to you, because writing them down gives you clarity. Now, when you are clear on your values, it's easier to spot people who are not in alignment with your value. You will not get swept by charm or guilt because you will know what matters most to you. For example, if honesty is a top value and is a priority for you, you will no longer excuse constant lies or white lies. You will say no to them in your relationships. You will see them as non-negotiable. Number 2, define your boundaries. This is very important. You have to specify what you are no longer willing to tolerate. Your boundaries are limits you set to protect yourself, to protect your mental health, to protect your emotional being, and more importantly, your physical space. Boundaries are about honoring yourself, because toxic people, they hate boundary. Is to pay attention to your body. Our body carry wisdom. When something feels off, when something is unsafe, when something is uncomfortable, your body will respond before your brain can rationalize it. Toxic relationships come with anxiety, confusion, or even tension. If your stomach drops or your chest tightens around someone regularly, it's a clue. Your body is telling you that something is wrong. You might smile and nod during a conversation, but your body feels drained or tensed afterwards. Listen, that's not chemistry. That is a red flag. Run for your dear life. So number 4 point here is heal your inner child. Your inner child is the part of you that carries those unmet needs, your fears, and your emotional wounds from childhood. Your healing involves nurturing that part of you with compassion and safety, because unhealed wounds attract familiar pain. If your inner child still feels unlovable, if your inner child still feels abandoned, you might unconsciously seek partners who reinforce that feeling. Again, without you realizing that this is what is happening. But when you realize what is happening with you, you start to heal. Your healing will now interrupt the cycle. And as soon as you start healing, you start realizing that you don't have to beg anyone to affirm you. You don't have to beg for love. You start affirming yourself. You start telling yourself that I am enough. I am good enough. I don't have to prove anything to anyone. You start realizing your self-worth. And my final point is to say no. Learn to say no. No is a sentence on itself. You don't need to justify it. You don't need to apologize for it. And you don't need to explain it to anyone. You can say no clearly and calmly. And it teaches people how to treat you. And it also reminds you that your comfort, your sanity, your mental health matters. You can politely say no. You can say, no, I'm not okay with that. No, I don't feel comfortable discussing this right now. No, I am not comfortable doing this. Start small. With time, saying no gets easier. I know it can be very difficult, especially if you're not used to it. So it gets easier. It gets powerful. Remember, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe about yourself. Change your belief about yourself, and you will change your relationships. To break free from toxic cycle, you have to stop looking outward. Start looking inward. It's not about blaming yourself. No, far from it. It's about knowing yourself, searching, knowing who you are. Because when you do, toxic people won't be able to latch on you. They will realize they can't control someone who is already rooted in their truth. They know that. All these abusers, they can see through. They know people that are vulnerable and they latch onto them. But when you know your truth, they can't latch onto you. And that is your power. Leave your comment below if this video resonated with you. Just type, I am choosing me. Let's support each other. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, God's blessings to you all.